Got it, that's not a good one. So the GoPro Hero 8 when it was first announced got me super excited, as most people would do when they see GoPro commercials, and I was super excited to test out the Hypersmooth 2.0 after loving the introduction of Hypersmooth in the Hero 7. So I hit up Camera Electronic and asked if I could grab one when they first came in to test it out. So thank you to Camera Electronic for letting me test this one out, and let's get straight into it. So the GoPro Hero Black is in many ways very similar to the Hero 7 Black, and if you didn't deep dive into it too much, at first glance you would have overlooked the differences between the two. So the Hero 8 still has the 4K 60 frames per second as its limit. Nothing new here, but you can now switch between a low and a high bitrate mode if you're wanting the absolute best quality possible. This bumps the max bitrate up from 60 to 100 megabits per second. In my opinion, the difference isn't super noticeable unless you zoom in a lot, and I mean a lot. Here you'll see the compression is less noticeable and textures are a bit smoother as a result. It kind of looks like it's had a denoiser put on the image on the low bitrate version. But where things start getting really interesting is when you start slowing the image down. So the Hero 8 now offers Hypersmooth in all shooting modes, including 240 frames a second. Now let's just stop for a second and appreciate the power that is needed to stabilize in real time 240 frames a second at full HD. Crazy. Now while checking out the shots I took at 200 frames a second because I was shooting in PAL, not NTSC. The data rate was reduced down to 25 megabit per second on average, and unfortunately this does become quite a bit more noticeable. If you can get away with only 4 times slow motion, the 100 frames a second option retains the 60 megabit per second bitrate, which gives the image a lot more detail. Durability of the Hero 8 is supposedly improved, but this was something that I wasn't willing to test out, so you have to take their word for it. Although I did test out the durability of the Hero 7.
Oh no.
But probably the biggest change that everyone seems to be getting the most excited about is for the new mods that will be coming in 2020. Being able to add on a few different options to build out your camera is definitely something that a lot of people have been wanting for a while, and it's awesome that they've seen the need for this and have acted on it. The most important one, in my opinion, is the mic add-on, as the internal mics are getting better, but nothing beats a directional mic. The flip-out screen will definitely benefit those that are wanting to use this as a vlogging setup, and the addition of the LED light will be something that we will have to wait and see about. It is quite close to the lens, so it's going to be pretty harsh. Oh my god, and game changer, the mount is now built into the GoPro itself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why it's taken so long to do this, I do not know. But this makes it so much easier to mount it onto things because it's one less thing you have to take with you or forget. Alright, so let's jump into the pros and cons. So built-in mount, 100% a big pro. Hypersmooth 2.0 and the flexibility to use it in every single shooting mode actually makes a really big difference. Usually you don't need stabilization when shooting in slow motion because once you slow it down, it becomes smoother anyway. But with the addition of this, it just makes absolutely everything buttery smooth, and it actually looks like it's shot on a gimbal. Most of the time. Being able to control the bitrate is a great new addition, especially if you're wanting the best quality possible to pair it with a higher end camera like a DSLR. Having the flexibility to pull out more data is always a nice option, especially when it comes to color grading. The Hero 8 can accept the old batteries from the Hero 7, 6, and 5, but supposedly the Hero 8 has a new type of battery. This is something that I struggled to find too much information on, but I did notice that when I put the old batteries into the Hero 8, a warning does come up saying that for the best performance, they recommend using the Hero 8 battery. So potentially the Hero 8 batteries have a higher discharge rate or something that can provide, I guess, more power when they're doing the crazy stuff like Hypersmooth at 240 frames a second. Alright, and now for the cons. So the previous models of GoPro had a removable lens protector on the front, which you could also swap out for things like ND filters. However, the new Hero 8 lens protector is actually part of the body now, which is a good and a bad thing. So on one hand, it's good that it will have better water sealing. However, on the other hand, it is bad because it means that if you are unlucky enough to smash it, then you'll be sending it straight off the GoPro to get fixed up. So the reason that I put this under cons is that if you are an FPV pilot like myself, this is an absolute common thing that breaks in big crashes. And not being able to easily replace this makes it even harder to get back out quickly. The Hero 8 is in fact slightly larger than the previous models, which means that you will need to buy all new cases, unfortunately. With the built-in bottom mount, it has chunked up a little bit, only slightly, but enough to mean that you do need to get new cases. When shooting burst photos in RAW mode, the image buffer is super slow. So as you can see here, we did a 30 image burst in 1 second, shooting in RAW mode, which is super duper impressive, and a big draw card for this camera. However, what isn't a draw card is the 58-second buffer to finish writing all these files. That is seriously long. A faster card would definitely fix this. However, most people don't want to spend several $100s on a super fast card. Extreme micro SD 1 terabyte, which has a write speed of 90 megabyte a second, which is absolutely plenty, and that is not a cheap SD card as well. Now, the big question on everyone's mind is, would I upgrade from the Hero 7? And for me personally, I don't see enough of a difference upgrading from the Hero 7 to the Hero 8. However, if you are rocking a Hero 6 or any GoPro older than that, then the Hero 8 is the absolute best option so far, as it's only $70 more than the Hero 7 Black. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Hero 8 Black. If you want to know more, then check out the links below. And again, special thanks to Camera Electronic for allowing me to test out the Hero 8 Black. And as always, stay creative, and I'll see you on the next one.